For the next 10 minutes or so, I'd like to invite everyone to just close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganganapattaye namo namah. Namo
Namaste.
Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. We're just a group of people that meet together from all over the world, from other continents and countries. Flowering Heart is the name of our center in Clearwater, Florida, and some of the processes that we offer, but it isn't. We don't all belong to an organization. We come from different spiritual teachers, different spiritual backgrounds, and what we have in common is awakening in the flowering of our hearts with divine love and compassion. So, welcome. If you're here tonight, or whenever you're watching this video, it's because you are definitely on the path of awakening, transformation, and the flowering of the heart. So, welcome. We share throughout these webcasts something we call the Flowering Heart Blessing. And it's flowing to you right now. It is a direct transmission of divine awareness, energy, presence, that is a gift from the divine source to anyone who wishes to receive it, to catalyze the process of awakening, to hasten it, to make it smoother, to remove blocks, and if you happen to be awakened already, to take you deeper, because awakening is no destination. It's an ongoing process of expansion. So we're glad you're here. The Flowering Heart Blessing is you're soaking in it right now, and it is directly from the divine. It does not belong to any spiritual hierarchy, organization, any saint, master, avatar. Did I leave anything out? It belongs to no one but the divine. And so it's free from any particular spiritual or religious orientation, and will support whatever your unique path may be. The divine let us know when we were given this blessing 6.5 years ago or something, that we should make it absolutely free. We should remember that it's a gift from the divine. That is grace, and it's never earned, it's never paid for. It's something freely given through unconditional love. And so we should pass it on in that spirit. And let people know that when you receive this blessing, you are initiated by the divine itself instantly, to be able to serve as an instrument of grace, as a vessel of blessing, and give the Flowering Heart Blessing to others, either at a distance, in prayer or meditation, through intention, or directly in the physical presence of the recipient, as long as it's a matter of informed consent, and they understand that this is going to change their lives. Then you're free to lay your hands gently on top of their heads and just invite the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you, and then just relax, because it's actually nothing we're doing at all. It's something the divine is doing, and looking for instruments to pour this grace through. So when you offer yourself as an instrument, you hold someone in your heart with compassion, or right in front of you, the divine will pour every time the Flowering Heart Blessing through you, which begins to open the door in the receiver to the experience, the deepening, ever deepening experience of the inner divine, of the divine spark that is our true divine self, that is already enlightenment itself, and is fully divine. That is where we're headed. Every experience on the outside, or that's come to us through an awakened spiritual teacher or master, is a mirror. The outer world is a reflection of the inner world. So the light that you may have seen flowing through the life, the example, the presence of an enlightened being is a mirror to you of your own inner light. And what happens, unfortunately, is that sometimes we get stuck on those outer vessels, those outer reflections, and could spend our whole life following an enlightened teacher without ever looking on the inside and discovering that the enlightened teacher is you. It's inside of you right now, and it's already awake. It's nothing anyone can give you, because you already have it. You are it. And the purpose of the Flowering Heart Blessing and other forms of blessing, there are many wonderful forms being shared on earth now, is to awaken that realization that you are the one you're looking for. So if you come to us tonight or joining with us and you have your group or your spiritual community or your teacher has another form of spiritual blessing, whether it's Shaktipat or some form of Diksha or some other form of blessing, Pho-wa. There's so many. I could just give them names, from the Christian, the Tibetan, the Sufi, the Taoist, the Buddhist, the Hindu tradition. The divine has been pouring direct awakening through the mystical traditions of all of the great religions and spiritual traditions. That said, if you bring one of those with you tonight, please feel free to share it with us. If its purpose is to awaken and cause the heart to flower, and it's from the divine source, we're very happy that you're here and that you would share that with all the rest of us too.
I encourage you to give the flowering heart blessing a try.
Okay.
Something new if it's not new for you.
Yeah, I agree. So my little machine tells me that I'm using too much of something. And since I don't want to lose our internet connection, I'll see if I can
push some buttons.
Unburden our system. There we go. So what we do in these gatherings is we open it for the next however long we feel moved to do it, to questions and answers about awakening, about God realization, about the flowering of the heart, about meditation, about reincarnation, about transcendence, whatever questions you may have lingering about your own spiritual process, what's going on or doesn't seem to be going on for you right now. If you ask, it always seems to move the divine to pour out inspiration and clarity that helps all of us. So please share your questions, and we're happy to take them on, even the difficult ones. Okay, so we'll give it a few minutes, and if one of you
want to read the...
I will.
Okay.
I will. Just want to make sure we're all still streaming perfectly here. Yeah. Well, so far so good.
Okay.
So I was sent a link to a particular, well, I don't know what you'd call it, a little essay that a dear friend of ours, someone we've known for a number of years, Mickey Carlholm, some of you may know Mickey. He's an amazingly beautiful spiritual being who lives in Sweden. And he introduced a number of people back in the early days of the oneness movement to what was going on in India. He also is the father of the No Mind festivals in Sweden, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful soul. So much love. He posted this little essay or little writing, which was from John de Ruyter, and I want to read it to you. It's about the shadows. So just take this in, let it work on you. By seeing the shadows in others, not seeing such shadows with criticism or judgment, but tenderness seeing them. It is only tenderness that has the honesty to see. If someone else's shadow can in any tiny little way find the same thing in yourself, then the shadows of others, instead of being an attraction for irritation, judgment, or criticism, are for you a love reflector. It is only surrender, nourished by grace, that can know such a delicacy. The moment you judge someone else's shadow, then the same thing within yourself becomes calloused over. If you ever encounter blame within yourself towards someone else, it is only you that is to blame without being able to see it. Anything other than love destroys everything. Being annoyed by anything is an anesthetic to grace and goodness. If you wish to know your shadows, you can find them behind every little thing that ever annoys you. If you ever get angry, you are creating total eclipse. When others are angry or annoyed with you, let such energy very gently open all your doors instead of you pulling down the shutters. Then everything that could ever aggravate you, annoy you, or make you angry is for surrender, an incredible source of grace. This is you loving the sun within, not just when it warms you, but while something that is not the sun acts on you, making you feel cold. It's the loving sun within in the cold, enjoying the tiniest flower in someone while they're hurting you, while they make you feel uncomfortable. It is such enjoyment of that in them that removes what is of their shadow within you. As long as you're justified in absolutely anything that bothers you, that is not just you unable to see your own shadow, but you protecting yourself from seeing it. Let annoyance be love that kisses you with broken lips. It is only your tenderness toward it that is ointment for it. What you truly are is grace. Without your absolute surrender to being in your heart, and that being what it knows, your true nature will not show. Without total surrender to what tiny little bit you know, you'll never be truly gracious. It is only graciousness, you being grace, that is grace blossoming. It is only total honesty within that enables you to see the door within to grace. And it is only total surrender that can fully open that door. Then it is no longer about feeling good in what you know is true. Surrender enables you to be the goodness in what you know is true, even if being the goodness seems to be only in tiny, tiny measures. That is the space into which your heart goes, however little seems to be there. You not just fully drinking in goodness when you feel it, but when you cannot feel it. You letting goodness drink you. That's what surrender is. It is such a relationship with goodness that turns you into it. Such a relationship with goodness makes you very gracious. It is only goodness and graciousness that is free. Freedom doesn't exist anywhere else. It is only love that is free. It is knowing love that gives you the taste of freedom. But it is only in being love that you are freedom. It is one thing to know it. It is again another thing to really feel it. And it is very much another thing to be it. Each comes with a price. Varying degrees of you relating only to what you know, regardless of the experiences within your mind, regardless of what you think or feel about anything. Through surrender, letting love completely slay you, letting every little annoyance in your life turn into an invitation for love to slay you. That is what dissolves every core belief within you that blocks out the sunlight within you. I think I'll post that on Facebook after the satsang tonight. If you found the language structure a little difficult in certain places to grasp, I'm guessing this was probably originally written in Swedish or some other language and translated to English, because I could see the sentence structure was more European, I think. So, but I think you got it. Yeah, wow. So powerful. Well, it brought a thumbs up. That's good, at least. So that brings me to remember to invite you to please give us a heart or a thumbs up, so we know that you've been here tonight. It's great to see that Reni's here tonight. And I'm here. But we like at the end to go and see who gave us a like or a love. Every once in a while somebody's given me an angry or sad face. That's not so nice. But then we can send you special prayers and blessings too. So feel free. Okay. It appears there are no questions tonight. Which is fine. But I took my time reading you that essay.
It'll just be a shorter meeting.
Okay. Yes, it will, actually. I'll give it another couple minutes and just see if that inspired anything in you, or if you have any questions emerge. Are you listening to that still small voice saying, ask them, or ask me through them?
Particularly quiet this week.
Do you have anything you'd like to share?
Just really like that essay that you just read. I heard, that was my second time through, and I heard different nuances to it. And it's a good meditation. I mean, it's almost like you could take one of those sentences a day and turn it into a spiritual exercise and really dive deeper, and looking at the perspective of the outer world as a reflection of the inner world. And we could all go deeper on that. We could all go a lot deeper on it.
Yeah. It started out sort of saying, if you're looking for your shadow, if you're looking for your shadows, and someone might just right away say, why would I want to do that? Because that shadow material often runs our lives. The programs that are buried in the unconscious, emotional charges, hurts, traumas that we carry that haven't been healed, processed, and released, those things often control our lives. And so a lot of the inner work of the spiritual journey, and we've been talking about this the last several weeks, is the unloading of the unconscious. It's bringing the unconscious programs that are controlling us into the light of consciousness. Once we see them, they're no longer unconscious. They may be programs running, but at least we have an opportunity. If we've got a program running, I'm a bad person and I deserve to be a loser, you know. Some people have programs like that running because of early childhood and things that were said to them as children. And we may not even remember when somebody told us we were a worthless little tramp, you know, and that, you know, we'll never amount to anything. But a lot of us were told things like that from adult figures and older children that we respected, and it left a mark. And even though we may have worked on ourselves and we can get up in the morning and say, I'm a winner. Everything I do will prosper because I'm filled with grace and I'm one with the divine, and I live in harmony and love, and so prosperity and health and good relationships abundantly, unfold in my life, and not even know that in the unconscious mind is that program still running from early childhood that went, you're a little tramp, you're a loser, you'll never amount to anything. The thing is that with all of that work done on our consciousness, the unconscious mind is much, much bigger. So the shadow work is absolutely essential. And that essay began with, if you're looking for your shadows, notice what you're judging in other people. Notice what annoys you. Every time you run into something that irritates you in another person, I mean, it's hard to drive down the street here and not have that happen, unless you're really in a good state. So every time that annoyance or that judgment in us is triggered toward someone out there, something out there, you've just run into your shadow. Because as Suzanne said, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. So the irritations and annoyances, the little hurts that we endure in relationship, and sometimes it's our most intimate relationships that are the hardest, whether it's with our parents, our brothers and sisters, or our partner in life. Especially in a romantic relationship, the heart is very vulnerable and open. And so it's very easy to get hurt, offended, and all of that. And so actually, those intimate relationships where there's so many triggers and so much annoyances, that is the crucible of transformation where we really get to see our shadows in action and see what we still have to work on in ourselves. Because that resistance is the separate self at play. It's the part that needs to be illuminated, brought into awakening. The part of us that is resisting other people, resisting reality as it is in the present moment, resisting feeling our feelings, resistance / irritation / annoyance. That is the presence of the separate self. So if you wonder if you're fully awakened yet, I think the litmus test, the easiest thing to do is say, does anyone ever annoy you? Do you have anything left that is irritated or annoyed, becomes judgmental or angry with another? And the essay talked about, it was really about surrendering to grace in that situation, and surrendering to love to slay you. But that wasn't a negative statement. It was talking clearly about true love, divine love, slaying what remains of that annoyed, angry, resentful, resistant
ego.
Well, ego has different definitions, but yeah, sure. Yeah, that's right. And since ego's got to go anyway, I think it sounds much sweeter for the ego to be slain by love.
Yes.
Than to be slain by,
repeated hard lessons.
Yes, all of the damage that it causes to come back to us, because what goes out comes around. Whatever we sow, we reap many times over. And the ego is always about itself. And it's always hurtful in some way. So, I see some things. So Jennifer Yekaterina wrote, beautiful. Jennifer wrote, thank you for sharing and for posting later. A lot of that resonated with me. And also, permitting too many of life's little annoyances to govern too much of my monkey mind and words. Yeah, well, how do you not? Those little annoyances, yes, they govern too much of our lives when it's still going on. And to be willing to see it. And that was another thing that was addressed in that essay, is the willingness to see. And only then would we have the tenderness to really see the shadow in another with love. And when you're irritated, it said it's like being kissed with broken lips. And the only ointment to heal it is love. It's, I will definitely post it after. Yeah.
And once we're more out of our minds and our egos and into our hearts, then when somebody comes up and is angry with us or triggers us, or the first thing that we usually have a knee-jerk reaction for is like, no, I'm not gonna let this go. I'm not gonna, and to defend and to come back with some retort. But sometimes if we would just step back for a minute and ask for grace in our hearts to help us to experience what we need out of that moment that's unpleasant to us, and to really feel it, that's where compassion comes in, because the divine has unconditional love and compassion for us. And as we grow more in our flowering of our heart, we begin to have that capacity for others. So this would be more of an exercise to deepen in that. And once we start to deepen in it, it becomes easier. Some charges or triggers might be bigger than others. Some annoyances might be more disturbing than others. But on a certain energetic level, when we grow in that compassion for things that are unpleasant to us, we're actually helping to shift the energy and the vibration within ourselves and within the other. Because we won't be needing to attract that to us anymore to experience. We're actually going to be experiencing it with grace and compassion. So there's a learning curve, but once you do it, it gets easier. And then just to be mindful, if I'm having a reaction that isn't coming from love or compassion, then just to be mindful that, okay, this is something that I really need to pay attention to.
One question that was sent to me via email a little earlier. Basically, I'm just going to paraphrase and get to the heart of it, I think, that the world is so divided. People's opinions are so divided, and we tend to be drawn into taking a strong stand this way or that. The world's polarized. You're either on this side or that side of so many issues. And this person is saying, wouldn't it be better to not do that? Yes, absolutely. It's the ego that takes a position in that way. And perhaps some crusades are worth taking a side on, but the witness sees all sides. But the questioner went on to say, wouldn't it be better to see the other point of view as equally valid and embrace that point of view also? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. See, I could stop judging. I can see both sides of a polemic, a polarized argument between people, whether it's religious or in a relationship or it's political or whatever. In the witness state, I can see that love might not want to get involved in that polemic, that struggle. But that doesn't mean that, suppose one side of the argument is that all trees should be killed on Sunday. And the other side is, no, trees should only be killed on Monday through Saturday. Okay, I'm not going to get in on that. I don't do that argument. But I don't need to accept either of those points of view when the heart can see clearly. A lot of the things that are flying around in the world, especially when they're this give and take sort of thing, are not of love. But more than likely, neither side is right. There may be some truth. It is really good to be able to listen to another person we disagree with an open heart without judgment. It's true. But in order to do that, I don't have to adopt their point of view as more valid than what my heart is seeing.
And it seems like now more than ever, ego is just totally unleashed and rampant on planet Earth. And the way to find the middle ground is through listening and compassion and and coming to some kind of a consensus or a working together. And as long as the ego is running the show in all different levels of reality right now, it's really hard to find the truth, because it's all coming from reactions instead of taking action of the heart.
There's another question here. I don't know how much I want to dive into it. It ends with simply, how does one find a balance between the head and the heart? Why would we be concerned? Well, this individual says a lot of the times I live with an open heart, and I end up being too influenced by the people around me. I take on their beliefs, their feelings, their programming. And an open-hearted person can be very open to being influenced by the people around them. And they said at other times, I'm so focused on my own projects and things I'm called to do and interested in, that I'm not really open to other people, you know? So how do I get that balance between the head and the heart? I don't think it's either or again. I'm not sure there is a balance between the head and the heart, but when the heart is in control, the heart can use the mind. So the balance is to find the heart and for the mind to be transformed. St. Paul said, don't be conformed to this world. Don't let it press you into its mold and form you, but be transformed or transfigured by the renewing of your mind. So, and this is the heart, the divine energy, restructuring the mind, right? Casting down the programming and the strongholds of wrong thinking and wrong teaching and all wrong beliefs. And grace, divine grace radiating out from the heart can clear the mind field and realign it with the heart. Then there's never a question, because even if you're using the mind for a particular task, it's the heart that's using the mind, not the mind using the heart. So that's about as far as I want to get into that one. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, alrighty then. Let's close our eyes and let's dive into the center of our being. How do you do that? Just relax and let go. Just relax. Take a few deep breaths and invoke the divine presence at the center of your being. If you go deep, deep, deep enough inside, you discover the light of the divine source shining at the center of your spiritual heart. This is our goal. How do I get there? Well, you just let go of all the stuff that's distracting you for a few minutes. Nothing to think about, nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to fix. Just let go of all that surface distraction and set your heart on the divine presence itself. And immediately and effortlessly, the divine begins to draw you into the center of itself. The gravity of divine love pulls you into the heart of the celestial sun. All you have to do is nothing. You can ask, help me, awaken me, cause my heart to flower with divine consciousness and love. And then just receive. Because this presence that dwells within you loves you unconditionally beyond your imagination. It sees right through everything you may have judged yourself for, or others may have judged you for. This is the most wise and knowing being in the universe. And it loves you just as you are unconditionally. So receive that love as it's being poured out to you now, flowing out to you from the center of your being to free you, to fill you with light, to transform you. This presence knows what you need better than you do. And it loves you so much. The presence wants to give you what you need. And it's powerful enough to do it and wise enough to know how to give it to you. So simply receive the flowering heart blessing. It will bring light to your spirit, clarity to your mind, healing and health, radiance to your physical body, balance, joy, love, and healing to your relationships. Just receive. If you have pain or disease in your body, welcome the energy, the grace of the divine presence to flood that and to heal it. If you are aching with a pain in your soul, let the divine give you the grace now to face it and embrace it, flood it with love. Most of the pain is just resistance to feeling that. Let the presence, the flowering heart blessing, dissolve the resistance. Nothing for you to do but receive. into the light meditation. With your eyes still closed, visualize us sitting in a circle together, all of us. Lift up your hands with your palms facing forward and invite the divine presence to pour the flowering heart blessing through you to all the other participants sitting in the circle with you. Know that it's flowing back to you through all of them also. Whenever you're ready, you can just relax and rest your hands, palms up, turned upward and open in your lap somewhere. And you can open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep looking constantly at least one of our eyes. As we enter the light meditation, the presence pours oceans of love and grace and light through me and Suzanne, through every pore of our being to you, but especially through our eyes. That's why they're called the doorways of the soul. As you just keep looking, nothing to do, that light streams in through your eyes, flooding your spiritual heart with grace and light, causing the flames of awakening and transformation to grow brighter and brighter. moments as we wait for the grace to settle within us. Now keep meditating as long as you want to, or you could lie down nearby in Shavasana, which is to lie on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve in gratitude in the presence. And you could just spend the night that way. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings until we connect again.
Until then, the divine presence within us beholds the divine presence in you. And we bow to you. Namaste.
Namaste.